Happy Sabbath. And this is the book of Amos, right? So I just want to let you know, as I always do when I start off, this is my book, right? I'm almost done. I need a new book. This is my book. And this is where I write my notes. And everything that I say, I put it in this book and I read it. And also type it on my screen in front of me so I can see it. And these are words from my mouth. So if you see me looking up here, I'm only looking at my own words. I'm not reading off of anybody else's. Right? I don't do, what do you call it? What do they call it? Plagiarism? I don't do that. That's me. I write exactly how I understand it, right? And that's what I'm doing today. And that's what we're going to talk about, Amos, how God can use anyone to be his prophet, right? He wasn't anybody special. He was just some guy. Amos, the book of Amos is a guy that was growing figs on a tree. And God just be like, hey, you, come here. You know, I need you to do this for me. And that's what it was. So it goes to show you that God can use anyone, right? So according to my notes of me reading and understanding Amos, is that Amos was, you know, he was powerful in sending prophetic messages from God, right? But he was just some random dude. Like, hey, right? So he wasn't a professional prophet. He was just a shepherd, right? He was, like I said, he was a fig grower. He grew figs. And he was in the village of Judah. He's from the village of Judah, you know. And he was just a common man, right? So the most important thing is that, as I said before, and I keep repeating it, because when I read Amos, I literally giggled, because it shows you it could be anybody. So what Amos did is that he delivered the messages, right, from God, right? So he prophesied during the reign of Jeroboam. You remember the King Jeroboam, that evil, never mind, I was going to say a word, but it's Sabbath, I can't say what I want to say, but if it was a Monday, you know. And at that time, it was a time where King Jeroboam was, you know, ruling, and there was prosperity in the land, and, you know, everybody was making money, and it was a great time, you know. There was a lot of social injustice, corruption, and, you know, and they didn't care about God's law. They didn't even care that God existed. They was making their money like what is happening now, right? No offense, but it is what it is. So the messages that Amos was sending out from God was mostly like, you know, like check your morals, right? Right? Check your morals. And social injustice, as I said, and also righteousness, right? So, and also he warned of the judgment of God. Like, God is coming. Go ahead, make your money, but I'm telling you now, you know, and Amos was totally against oppression of poor people, right? So there was a lot of money. There was prosperity in the land under King Jeroboam, right? And Amos sent the message, right, of, you know, social injustice, unrighteousness, and disregard for God's laws, right? And he also spoke against oppression of poor people. And that caused a lot of problems. And he faced a lot of pain and suffering, as if Jeremiah, and also as Isaiah. They all got threatened, called upon. Daniel, all these people, a lot of people hated them because they had messages from God that they did not want other people did not want to hear them come out of their mouth. Just like today, right? You ever hear preachers on the street, people like, shut up, be quiet, you're disturbing the peace. They don't want to hear it, right? So he proclaimed that true worship involved acting justly and acting righteous. And what he's saying is that there's a lot of people out there that are spreading the word of God, and they're faking it. And that's what Amos said. So sometimes you see people out there, they talk about God, they talk about Yahuwah, talk about Yahusha, and they're speaking because it sounds good, and they talk about it, but they're not doing it from here. And that's what Amos is talking about, saying that you're fake, you're phony, and that you're only doing it just to do it, but you're not talking about God from your heart. You're only doing it to get likes. You know what I mean? Like how we would say, get likes and clicks. Back then he was like, you're doing it just to get attention, or you're doing it whatever. But that's what Amos didn't like. He didn't like the immoral. He didn't like the fact that people were out there preaching, right? Preaching the word of God for likes, for attention, but never follow God's laws, right? We don't get me wrong. I slip. We all slip. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody's perfect. Even though I'm preaching, I'm not, like I said, I've never considered myself a Christian. I'm just considered as a believer and a respecter and a person who respects and loves and honors God, right? But I slip. We all slip. But at least when I'm talking, I'm talking from my heart. I'm not trying to gain no likes and clicks, right? Anything like that. I'm doing what I am told to do, and I'm doing what I love to do and what I'm supposed to do, right? Is to talk about different things that's pertaining to God, because on Sabbath, God said, keep it holy. You're not supposed to work. You're not supposed to think of anything else but Him. And it's only just one day, 24 hours. That's what He's asking for. But I do it every day. Just like you, I think about God every day, every night, every hour. So, like I said, he was called to prophecy in the northern kingdom of Israel, particularly in Bethel, a major religious center. It says here, from what I wrote, it says that he was very bold, in meaning that he must have been, in other words, he must have been a real loud mouth, a troublemaker, and that's why God chose him. Say, hey, I like you because you run your mouth and you don't care, so I need you to do this, right? So, he said he was very bold on his his messages, and he's in your face, like he's telling you in your face, like he's jumping in your face, hey, and things like that, and people didn't like it, right? So, but the thing is that there was a priest called Amos, I think Amaziah or something like that, and he wanted to expel Amos, right? And things like that. So it's just to me that this book is like a powerful, it's a powerful, and it has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? I'm looking at my notes, but I don't have it on here. It's something I want to, true testament. That's what I want to say. Thank you. I don't know what I was thinking. It's a true testament to staying within your moral quarters, and stop being a fake. Stop sitting there and talking about God and preaching and stuff when you don't mean it. It didn't come from the heart. You're just doing it just to get recognition, like our priest today. So, and it's like, as I wrote here, is also an importance of living under God's laws and standards, right? So, moral standards, right? So, he challenged the comfortable and the powerful, right? He challenged comfortable people that was making them money, and he challenged the power of the rich people and their prosperity. Hey, like the Kim Kardashians, like, hey, you can make your money, but respect God at the same time. And they weren't doing it. So he wanted them to account for their actions, under God's ways. And that's it. But they refused to do it. They figured that if they follow under God's laws, right, and they won't be rich, they won't be powerful, and they wanted to keep the poor people under control, oppress them, not give them a share of nothing, let them stay at the bottom. Sounds familiar? So they won't rise up, because they don't believe in having equal stuff. Some people have to be higher than others, right? So, and that's what it is. So what I'm saying is that Amos is the type of person that he just didn't care, and he was crazy in a good way, because he stepped in people's faces. He wasn't afraid to step up and tell them, hey, don't do this, or do this, or do that. You should be doing better than that. You shouldn't be oppressing. He stepped up to the king and said what he said. So that's why I have so much admiration for Amos, because Amos didn't care. He said, I might grow figs, but God chose me to give you this message, and that's an honor for me. Thank you.